Today we're talking with one of our 2023 summer interns about the internship as we look forward to the 2024 class. That's what's today on To Be the Church podcast. Welcome to the To Be the Church podcast, where we explore what it looks like to truly be the church in today's culture. I'm Tyler, and I am joined today by Will. And just to be honest, we just recorded 5 minutes that we realized that we can't use because we thought that something we were reading was meant to be funny, and then 5 minutes in realized, no, this is like legitimately people like use this as an evangelistic tool. And we just
5 minutes of beautiful uncut footage.
Yes,
the world will never see.
So if you join our Patreon page and pay us $50 a month, we'll send you that 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. We don't have a Patreon page. But Will's here. Will, you are an intern here at Northwest Gospel Church, and I just found out before we started recording the first time that you've actually been on this podcast before. It was this summer while I was out, and you spent the summer as an intern here, one of our 13 summer interns, specifically in our preaching track.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, you did an internship over at Campus Washougal with Ben and Max.
Yep.
And then now you've stayed on for the school year, and you're a staff intern here, diving into other areas of ministry, middle school, some preaching stuff, and kind of learning what it looks like to be on staff at a church. And so I thought it'd be fun to bring you on because as we're recording this, it's Thursday, November 2nd, and I just got back last night from a recruiting trip for next summer's intern program. So I've been talking about the internship a lot. Mm-hmm. The application process for our summer internship just opened this past week. We already have a couple of applicants for next year already. So I thought it'd be fun to bring you on and just talk about the internship. Yeah. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because I was at a school in Virginia this week, and two of our interns from this summer actually went to that school and still go to that school. And so they joined me.
Yeah. And
I found that there is a difference whenever one of the pastors of a church is trying to say, hey, here's our internship and why you should apply. There's a difference between that and then somebody who's also a student at your school and saying, oh, I think this internship would be good for you and here's why.
Yeah.
It was just a different dynamic whenever Bonnie or Caleb were telling their peers about it versus me, some guy they've never seen from a church far away, saying, here's why you should come join us. And so I wanted to bring you on and just pepper you with some questions about the internship here this summer. And if you're a college student and you're listening to this, we'll put a link in the show notes where you can actually go find out more information about the NGC summer internship program and perhaps even apply.
We'll throw my Instagram in there too.
Yeah. Will the Thrill 09. Did I get that right?
Will _ the Thrill. Jeez, man. I'm going to get doxxed.
Is it 09 though?
Yeah.
Is that the year you were born?
Yeah. No. Dude, jeez. I thought you were being serious for a minute. I was like, what?
No, why 09?
It's not all that far off though.
Why 09?
Why? What's that mean?
Why is it 09? Like, why is that your number?
You know what? I don't know. I think I was a freshman when I made that.
Okay.
So for all of us, we should be lucky that we don't.
09, like ninth grade?
No, I think it was like I was a freshman and I thought 09 sounded cool.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And a lot of the stuff I posted I thought was cool too. That was in reality really not cool.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. But
yeah, I'm old enough to, like, my first experience with like making a username was actually for AOL Instant Messenger.
What's that?
Exactly. But yeah, it was... My username, I think, if I remember right, was Big T with a bum knee.
Hey, that's kind of good, man.
Yeah. That was AOL Instant Messenger. This is back when the internet was something that you couldn't use at the same time as your home phone.
What, dude? See, now I feel young and sitting here,
and I feel old. That's cool.
All right,
all right. Let's talk internship.
Yeah.
Okay, so. As with anything, people are coming into a program like this with all sorts of different ideas of what they think it might be and what they are hoping it would be. When you saw the internship last summer, or before last summer, when you decided to apply for it, what were you hoping to get out of the 3 months here with the 12 other interns?
Yeah. Well, I think coming out of high school, it was pretty shocking to me, like, all your friends go off to college, and so you're kind of sitting at home or sitting wherever, and it's like, especially at CW, they don't have a ton of young people that go there, and so it's kind of hard to make friends, and I just had a lack of community overall in my life, and getting to be for 12 or 13 weeks, however long that internship was, I think it was 10 weeks, but with 13 other people, for that long, like, man, the community and the relationships and just like the sweet, sweet fellowship was amazing to me. And really an answer to prayer. And of course, those people go off after the internship, but I mean, I still keep in contact with many of those people on a regular basis. Stuart Johnson is now one of my best friends, and the community that brought was really special. It's something special to be surrounded by believers. So that's what I was hoping to get out of the community, which I did. And then ultimately, like with the internship, I'd studied a lot about preaching and preached at some different churches, preached here at the youth group throughout the year, and Kingsway's Chapel, stuff like that. But I was looking to get reps preaching in the pulpit, and the internship provided a lot of good opportunity for that over the summer as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those who aren't familiar with our internship here, we have a track-based program where every intern comes in and they study it was 7 tracks this past year. It's 8 this coming year. And so the areas of focus are preaching, which you did, discipleship, youth ministry, kids ministry, music ministry, creative ministry, and then operations. Those were the 7 from this past year. Operations being kind of like the behind the scenes, how does this work organizationally? And then this summer, we're super excited. We're adding a missions track. Yeah. And our missions track, the other 7 tracks are led by staff members who do those areas of ministry here at Northwest Gospel Church. The missions track this year is going to be actually led by one of the missionaries that we support and is going to be here for the summer, him and his wife. I say him and his wife because we supported him for a long time. He just recently got married. And so they're going to be in town for the summer. And so learning the relationship between the local church and a missionary and kind of how that stuff works together. And so one of the questions I got a bunch this week when I was talking about the internship to folks was like, okay, if it's track based, I'm working, for instance, like Cody's our creative guy, creative pastor now. And so like whenever, if I'm a media or creative intern, am I actually going to ever spend time with the other interns like that aren't media creative interns? And so would you speak to like what your experience was with that as far as like the idea of your track versus your intern class as a whole and how that played out? Yeah,
well, me and Michael Spencer, shout out Michael. I feel like I got to do shout outs. I'm not going to do that though.
But you just did.
Yeah. So, hey, maybe but, we came in and it was kind of like a running joke. Maybe we kind of had a part to play in this, but where it was like, oh, these are the preaching guys. They think they know more than everybody. And so we at first were kind of like, well, what's going on here? And then it was like, I guess to answer your question a little bit more, people like Bonnie and Caleb. Bonnie was operations. Caleb was creative. I mean, those are kind of like the 2 furthest tracks from preaching that you can really get. And Bonnie and Caleb were like 2 of the people who I really actually bonded a lot with and spent a lot of time with. So not only do we see each other in the office throughout the week and those sorts of things, but like when we do a Friday night dinner, things like that, or we do excursions and go on hikes and hang out, like we really are all hanging together. And so it's cool to me how I can interact and enjoy time with somebody who is on the opposite end of a spectrum of as far as their role to play in the church. But those are some of the people I actually loved the most, if I'm allowed to say that.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, I'm trying to think through other questions I got from students. All right, well, let's go with this. And again, tracks may be different, but one of the questions I got was like categorically, internships are famous for like grunt work.
Yeah.
Right? They're famous for like, oh, you're an intern, go clean the toilet. Like, and that's kind of a joke, but like, so it's like, all right, what level of like, what's the percentage of grunt work I'm going to do in an NGC internship? What's the percentage of like ministry work, but still work that I'm going to do? And then what's the percentage of like learning I'm going to do? Like, am I coming into this, like, should I come in with a student mindset where I'm going to be learning a bunch? Should I come in with like a work boots on, like I'm going to work a bunch? Or should I come in with like yellow rubber gloves on because I'm cleaning crap off the walls or whatever, and so what was your experience? And because again, as I'm talking to students about this, I'm kind of giving my perspective as like one of the leaders here at the church, also somebody who wasn't even here for the internship. I was gone all summer.
Yeah.
And so, I'd love to hear what your perspective was, again, knowing that every track's a bit different.
Yeah. So I had a feeling of how this would go because I've been in the NGC world and those sorts of things, but there was so much pouring in, and to the surprise of many of the people like Shelby and Bonnie and Caleb from Virginia, who they were expecting this to be more of an internship, and we kind of all more of a grunt work internship. Okay. And we all would always talk about that. Like, man, I figured I was going to be scraping the floors and stuff like that, but I was blown away. And the way I knew that this was going to be a lot of pouring in is when we walked in on the first day, there was the basket of different goodies and a notebook and gift cards, and it set the tone. And it was like a thing where I was like, okay, yeah, I know this is going to be a lot of pouring in. Yeah, I've been very blessed at different internships that I've been in. I hear like horror stories about some of the internships where people are just pretty much doing grunt work and nothing fruitful. The internship here was the complete opposite, almost to the point where you could kind of like push it back towards grunt work a little bit. Yeah, the pouring in, the amount of fun time we had to just refresh with other interns and just enjoy each other and learn. And to any of you interns, if you're watching this, if you said you couldn't get the reading done, that is cap. You definitely could have gotten the reading done. But that's kind of an inside joke. Cody's over here laughing.
Yeah. Okay. So
I had to take a shot on the camera. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So a couple more things.
Yeah.
One observation that I had being in Virginia, I loved whenever somebody that knew Bonnie or Caleb would come up and then they got to tell them about the internship and they had a personal relationship with them. I think if I remember right, both Bonnie and Caleb are resident spiritual directors or something like that. Yeah. So they're kind of like Bible study leaders for their floor or something like that. Yep. And so they got to talk to a lot of people. And one of the things that Bonnie said that stuck out to me that I was really grateful for, and I feel like I can say this because I wasn't here, was she was telling one of her friends, she was like, I knew that I was going to grow in my understanding of how a church operates because I was an operations intern. And she's like, but what I didn't anticipate was the ways that I would grow spiritually. And I did. And the ways that the people of NGC cared for us. Yeah. And so she was talking even about some of the dinners that you mentioned, the Friday night dinners or whatever, at members of the church's houses. And she even said, she's like, and actually she's like, there was one family in the church that recently sent me mail at Liberty. No way. That was they sent her a book and were like, hey, this made us think of you and your ministry desires and stuff like that. But sent her a book and just a nice note, just in the last couple of weeks, a few months after the internship was over. Right. And so I was super pumped to hear an intern from across the country, to hear them say in that 10 weeks, I didn't just grow in my understanding of how a church operates or what ministry looks like, but I grew in my faith. And it was partly because these people legitimately cared for me and are still caring for me. Yeah. Months later and legitimately are the whoever those church members are. I don't even know who they are. She didn't say the names, but there's no ulterior motives there. Right. It's not like they're
here's this book.
Right. Yeah. She's not,
we need you to babysit.
Yeah. She's not here. Right. Yeah, exactly. It's not that at all. And so I don't know, I was super pumped to hear that, and to see that. And, I think, okay, so here's a question for you. Just a couple more. Yeah. But, who would you say is a good fit for this internship? Not individuals, don't let's say Terry, but the type of person, who would be a good fit for, thinking about 2024 summer internship. You have a buddy and they're like, should I do this thing? What type of person do you think would be a good fit for that?
Yeah. Okay. This is I don't want this to sound canned, but one of the things we talk about here, with people being leaders or different stuff like that, is humble, hungry, and smart. That's immediately what came to mind when you were talking to me. The first one being humble. If you're somebody who's a humble person, meaning you walk in humility, not just as a flashy thing, but you strive to submit to other people, submit to leaders, track leaders, other interns even. If you're somebody who's humble, or you're somebody who's wanting to be humbled and continue in that, this is a great fit for you. I know it was extremely humbling for me, being this close with people for 10 weeks. If you're hungry, if you aspire to ministry, regardless of what that looks like, maybe you want to be a pastor, maybe you want to be a youth pastor, maybe you want to work in operations or media or music. If you are hungry for that, you want to get hands-on experience and like learn about what that's like, this is a great opportunity. And then smart. I think a lot of people in a good way were surprised at like they came kind of expecting like you're I'm not trying to flame other churches, but like people were very impressed with the teaching and the preaching that was seen in the pulpit here. And the teaching and the amount of learning that we do, like with the books and with those sorts of things and the track lectures. If you're somebody who's wanting to learn, you're somebody who wants to grow in your knowledge, this is also a great fit for you.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, all right, last question, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
But what would you say to somebody who's like, I'm thinking about applying for that internship? Why should they?
Oh yeah. I think what comes to mind for me first is that, this church cares. Northwest Gospel cares. I've been in a number of different church worlds. Tyler's not paying me to say this. I drove back to come and do this podcast. Like, this church really does care. And so the amount of pouring in, and any one of our interns would tell you that, if you are looking to be poured into and fostered, this church does that really well. I know I personally grew so much. I think even on the community side of things, like if you're looking for a solid community, you're looking for people to come alongside you. It's a beautiful, beautiful, sweet community here at the internship. And people who were outside hanging out with our group saw that. A number of my different friends were like, man, these people are awesome. So if you're looking to be poured into, if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to find a community that's going to love you and provide you with lifelong friends, and those are to name a few of the reasons.
Yeah. Sweet. Dude, well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
this
thanks
is super
for having
fun. I'm pumped. Like I said, the application process just opened this past Tuesday. So we're taking applications from now through the first couple months of the year for next summer. If you'd like more information, you can just check the link that is in the show notes. It's nwgospel.com/intern, but that's where you can find the application and all the different information about the 2024 college internship. And so if you or maybe a family member is interested in that, definitely check that out. We'll put Will's Instagram in the in the show notes as well, so you can see his shenanigans.
Trying to get my followers up.
Yeah, right on. All right. Well, and if you have questions for us, you can hit us up on social media @tobeTheChurch, or send us an email directly, podcast@tobeTheChurch.com, or simply throw it in the YouTube comments. We'll talk to you later.